So, okay, guys, welcome for the third interview of this series. So far, I'm with another fighter from American Top Team. So I'm here with Gillian Robertson. How are you, Gillian?
I'm doing great today. Trying to stay busy in these with everything that's going on right now, but trying to always stay working and stay focused on my craft.
Yeah, I saw that you train wherever you could, like in your garage. I saw on Instagram you stay. Do you have a gym not too far from where you are?
It's actually one of my friend's garages. We've just been going there pretty much the whole quarantine, and my coach Dean Thomas, he's been putting in a massive amount of time with me, working with me twice a day, every day. So it's really, I haven't lost any time on the mats during this whole time. I've been constantly focused, constantly training, and I'm ready to take any fight, even short notice next week. May 9th card put me on it,
That's great. That's good. I know from what you said in other interview that you really love to train. Is that what makes you feel alive, is to be on the mat? That's what you said. So I guess for you, it's very important to stay active.
Oh yeah, I don't know what I'd do without training, honestly. Like, this is it doesn't feel like I have a job because I get to live my dream for my life. It's just, I love every minute of it. This is what I'd be doing even if I wasn't getting paid for it. I'd still be trying to find time on the mat. So I love it. It's really a dream come true for me to be signed with the UFC.
ATT, that's where you are normally?
Yes.
Is it closed? Is it been closed for like a long time now?
Yeah, right now they're opening up a little bit just for fighters who have fights coming up. So on those couple, the May cards that are coming up, I believe they're allowed to have just like small crews in there. So we're opening up a little bit, but still it's been closed doors.
So is your teammate Maria, she's trained there?
Yes, Mara Barella, yeah.
Do you train with her? Do you spar with her?
I haven't in a while, but she's definitely one of the tougher girls to work with. She's strong as anything, and it's an honor just to have so many girls. We have I think 10 to 15 girls who are in or high level pros or in the UFC. So it's just awesome to have that many girls to work with. We have Mara Barella, Amanda Ribas, Amanda Nunes, Nina Ansaroff. I'm trying to think. Marina Moroz. A large group of 15ers, 25ers, 35ers, and then with Bellator we have Valerie Lareda, Valerie Letourneau, just another huge group of girls out there too. I've been begging for a fight ever since then. I wanted January, I wanted February, I wanted March, and I haven't been able to get a date yet. I don't know why. So I was just constantly waiting for the matchmaker to get back to me, and finally when he did, I literally sent the contract back within minutes. All I want is a name. I just need a name and a date, and I'm ready to go.
Awesome. So so you were you're from Canada, right?
Yes, originally I was born in Canada.
But you moved when you were pretty young?
Yeah, when I was 7 years. Yeah, when I was 7, I moved down to Florida. So I've trained in Florida my whole career, but my grandparents still live in Canada, so it's I'll go back and visit, and it's still home to me.
Because you fought in Canada, maybe Edmonton, I forgot which. No, you fought in Canada 2 years ago?
Yeah, I fought in Edmonton, and then this next one was actually supposed to be scheduled for Saskatoon, so it would have been my second time performing in Canada. And I was so excited to do that, but I don't think that's going to happen now. So
yeah. But so about your background, so for people who don't know, you start doing just cardio kickboxing when you were a teenager? And
yeah, I started it was actually Dean Thomas's gym, so the coach that I still work with today, but he had a cardio kickboxing program at his gym. So I just started training there, and then one of my friends who went to high school with me, he was like, yeah, you should come try the MMA class. So I just did it one day, and then I fell in love. It's hard not to. I started training jiu-jitsu, and then I was like, oh, I'm good at this, I can actually do this. And I took my first amateur fight not too long after that, and I was an amateur for 2 years, had 11 fights in 2 years. So I was 5-6 fights a year when I was an amateur, and then turned pro. And I've had, I think, 11 fights since then now too. I'm always ready to go. I love this.
Yeah, actually, I saw your fight just before you entered the Ultimate Fighter was against Anna Cyphers. I don't know how you say, but I think you choked her out, right? You won by submission.
Yes, I got a second round rear naked choke in that one. Literally, whenever because they have Ultimate Fighter tryouts, you have to fly out to Vegas and try out for it before the show happens. And I fought Hannah Cyphers on Saturday. My birthday was on Wednesday, and then that Friday I flew out to Vegas to go try out for the Ultimate Fighter. So it was all within 1 week. I'm that was a great 22nd birthday for me, being able to get my fifth professional fight, my third professional win, and then I tried out for the Ultimate Fighter and got to stay out in Vegas.
Yeah, so actually, I want to speak a little bit about the Ultimate Fighter, because so for people who maybe don't realize that at the point when they did this, like there was all the best flyweight in the world, or most of the best flyweight female fighter in the world, and Barboza, the woman you fought, at the time she was kind of like the lineal champion, if you could, because she was like the Invicta flyweight champion. And so for you, you kind of jump just finishing your amateur career to fighting like one of the top names in your division, which is kind of insane, actually.
Oh yeah, no, it was definitely mind blowing to me that I got to share the cage with Barb. You know, it's like for the last couple of years, I'm looking at her as the Invicta champ. She's the best of the best for my weight class, and then now I'm standing across the cage from her. It was kind of mind blowing in itself, but I guess no matter what, I'm there to show up. I'm there to fight.
Because at some point, I think you were looking for a armbar, and you were going to sweep her, but she used her feet to stop the movement, the rolling you were doing, and she kind of got back on top. And during one of your fights against Molly McCann, you used the same move, but to finish her with your armbar. And I was wondering if it's something that you learned from that fight, just something that you learn in the gym every day.
I think it's also just different looks that you're getting from different opponents, where Barb was probably a little bit more experienced. Like Emily Whitmire coming into that fight, I think she was like 2-1 or just with her experience in the Tough House too. So I feel like that was a little bit more evenly matched there. But it's also it's always things I'm working on, no matter what, trying to get on top, trying to just better myself. But I feel like Barb was definitely one of my tougher opponents at the time. I feel like right now she'd be a better matchup for me than when it was back then.
Yeah. And thank you. Yeah, so it was against Emily Whitmire, wasn't against Molly McCann. Molly McCann was a different story. You choked her out. And actually, the jump from your Whitmire fight to the McCann fight on the striking was like crazy, the improvement you made, in my opinion. Because at first, as striking is not your first base, you always felt like a little bit more stiff and nervous on the feet. Where against McCann, you start to develop like a good jab. You are in and out pretty well. Even the footwork, the lateral movement was pretty good. And I was wondering, like, how much Dean Thomas helped you getting some work so that you can be able to be on the feet as relaxed as you are on the ground?
Honestly, especially through this quarantine, that's all I've been working is stand up, stand up, stand up. So I was just joking with him today. He was like, all right, we'll work some jiu-jitsu tomorrow. I'm like, oh, I feel like I haven't done it in so long. Like, all we've been doing is pad work, stand up, head movement. And I'm honest, like, I'm never excited about it's not that I'm not I want to get to the ground fast usually in my fights. For this next fight, I'm actually excited to be on the feet. You know, like I want to be able to perform on the feet because I feel like I've just been getting that much better. I feel like it also just comes with experience being in there. Like I said, I had a lot of amateur fights, and then I'm finally getting up there in my pro fights, getting a good amount of pro fights. So just having that experience under my belt, the more and more I go in there, the calmer I get.
And also just quickly on the Ultimate Fighter, so I don't know, how long was it, like 6 weeks? Maybe a bit more?
6 weeks.
Yeah, so there was Eddie Alvarez and Justin Gaethje. You were on the team of Justin Gaethje. I wonder, like, how was being around Gaethje and his team for like 6 weeks?
Oh, I loved him and his team more than any. Like, I feel like I hold his coach on a pedestal like I do my coach. You know, like Trevor Whitman is an absolute genius and just an amazing person. And I fell in love with his coaching style. I fell in love with who he is as a person. And I loved working with him as a head coach, like just having that guidance. And like you said, going into a fight with Barb was a huge opponent for me. And I've never felt so confident walking to a fight with having Trevor Whitman and Justin Gaethje behind me. Like both of them they make you feel unstoppable, especially Gaethje. Like he's like, it's either I get finished or I'm finishing him, you know. Gaethje's fearless. So it's like having that in your corner, it gives you a different type of power in there.
And I love that after the fight, you were pretty proud that you cut her. He was like, he gave you a fist bump. Like, I was, he was very representative of who he is.
Justin Gaethje and his team as coaches and just as people, they're good people. You know, it's like just on a personal level, they're friends with me, and like you can tell that they were putting the work into us, and they're proud of us for what we did.
Yeah, I like the idea that for him, it's more about giving maximum effort, doing the best you can, and then the result. It's crazy. It's crazy sport. So the result doesn't always do everything. You know, like sometimes with the fans, I'm often like frustrated by people who just watch the record of fighter and just check on Wikipedia who lost, who won, and they don't watch the fights. And Gaethje is someone who doesn't care about it. Of course, he wants to win. Everybody wants to win, but it's more about being proud of yourself. And I feel that is something that you probably give a good spirit, a warrior spirit, a little bit.
I remember every team practice, we used to put our hands in the middle at the end and to end it, and we would always end it with saying attitude, like screaming attitude, because that's all it's about for him, is your attitude walking in the cage. Just got to be positive, got to believe in yourself.
Do you think he's going to win Saturday?
I actually do see him win Saturday. I feel like that Gaethje gives Tony a tough matchup.
Yeah, big time. And I think every version of Ferguson will struggle with Gaethje, who is now. Actually, I love Ferguson and Gaethje, but I want Gaethje to win because I think it's the worst matchup for Khabib, and I want someone to challenge him. And I love Ferguson, and I feel he's someone who deserves to be a champion for so long. And I'm afraid karma can be pretty cruel in MMA, and I'm afraid it's gonna be finished maybe early.
Yeah, no, I would love to see the Gaethje Khabib fight. I feel like I've said that for a while. I feel like Gaethje's the answer for Khabib because he's going to be someone who's going to be able to defend the wrestling and just come in. He's there to brawl. He's there to fight, so he's going to stay in Khabib's face and want to fight. And I don't think Khabib will be able to hold him down like he does everybody else.
Yeah, most of my colleague analysts in the fight site who always talk about this, and we're like, we need to get someone who just walk down Khabib and just punch the body and goes in. And of course, in the wrestling, he can do his own self. And Gaethje is made to beat Khabib. We talk about your striking, but as someone who loves jiu-jitsu and who's very good once you get on the mat, often there's fighters who struggle to get the action on the mat. So that's where the wrestling comes in part. And your wrestling through the fights get much better actually, and you develop quite a good single leg that you turn into double leg. And I was wondering, who do you work with? I know Dean Thomas, of course, but how come the process of learning wrestling?
Really, Dean Thomas is my coach for everything. Dean Thomas is my head coach for, I work with Dia Davis for boxing as well, but Dean Thomas is my MMA coach. So he works with me all around on everything else. And literally you just drill different things every day. This morning it'll be jiu-jitsu, tonight it'll be striking, tomorrow morning we'll be doing wrestling. He's constantly switching it up with me and just making me a well-rounded fighter. We're just trying to make me the best mixed martial artist out there.
Yeah, because actually, I remember you got a good single leg against Emily Wattmeyer that you turned into a double leg, and it worked pretty well. And she defended pretty well, pushing your head back, that you take it off, and then she's going to scramble, and you end up on her back. And once it was here, it was game over. And I feel against Molly McCann, it was even more funny because you shot another good single leg, but in the second one, you were kind of very confident. You went for an arm drag in half deep, and which I don't want to be mean, but she should have been able to defend at least a bit better the position of it. But what I liked about the fact that you did is that you felt confident in your wrestling, because it's a very daring move. It's very dangerous to try that. If you miss, you're in very bad position, and I love that you get that confidence.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. People are always scared to pull guard, pull guard in MMA because you end up on your back. But I feel like if you do it smart, there I'm attacking with it, I go for the sweep right after, I end up on top, and I'm always confident that I'll be able to do that. Yeah,
actually, you have a very good sweep. You're very good at hooking the legs or even the wrist of your opponent. There's so many times you change position on the ground. It's very, very cool to watch. I'm a big fan of this. I love to watch you going on the mat. It's always fun.
Oh, thank you so much.
No worries. And yeah, there was another thing about the wrestling I wanted to ask. Against Macedo, who's a pretty strong flyweight. She even fought above. Last fight she was a better weight. I have a question from one of our patrons, someone who support the site we work with. He's a big fan of yours. His name is Christian, and he was wondering if, when you fought Macedo, did you understood or realize quickly that every time she will be in a position where she vulnerable, she will just try to explode and get on 4 points position and try to finish the fight here? Is it something you
honestly, that's probably the thing that gave me the biggest problem about Macedo, is how explosive she was. Because I feel like her legs are just so thick, she's able to get that explosive power off of anything. And it's she probably is one of my fights that I'm not comfortable with, with one of my wins that I'm not comfortable with, where I'm I'm not proud of how I look in that fight, because she was able to capitalize on a lot of my mistakes because of her explosiveness. So Yeah, I feel like she definitely gave me problems. She's definitely a tough girl. Like, I'm surprised by her record in the UFC right now. I know she's had a lot of tough matchups, but she was one of my tougher fights. She's really good.
But the thing is that I think she's a good flyweight, but I don't think bantamweight is good for her. Like her last fight. I thought like the cardio was almost. I'm not
Oh
gonna say
yeah.
embarrassing because I'm not gonna say about 90, but it was like very difficult for her. She's just way too. She need to cut to 125 or even one. She fought at 115, I think, also. But
Yeah, no, she's definitely a 25er. I don't see why she
yeah.
ever fought at 35. I questioned it going into it, but she's a good 25er. It's just I would love to see her get some wins under her belt, you know?
Oh, and also a fight, unfortunately, that she lost, but against Mayra Bueno Silva, who's actually a very good flyweight. I know she lost to your teammate Moroz,
Yeah.
but I feel she's a great striker. Is someone who, in the future, for sure, will be in the rankings, obviously.
I didn't show up mentally for that fight in general. I feel like from the time the bell started, I just wasn't there. I never fought that fight, and I've I probably learned the most from that fight. I've probably grown the most from that fight because I realized all the mistakes that I made.
Because one thing, there's some stuff that I like about the fight. That's why I asked. Like for example, I think you start the first takedown like a single leg. She stopped it pretty well, and then you just blast a double leg with an outside trip, and that was pretty sick actually. And so what I watch when I see so different fights that so you develop a good single leg that you're able to turn into a double leg, or even to put your head on the side and complete the takedown like this. So, and for me, it's like very important that as a jiu-jitsu person, you're able to get it on the ground.
Yeah, no, it just helps to have so many different bodies, so many different looks. You get every look in the book, you know? If I need a good striker, I've got it. If I need a jiu-jitsu girl, she's there. If I need a good wrestler, I always have someone to push me. I always have someone that's knows how to make me better.
And I feel probably Dean Thomas probably helped you with that, is that even on the feet, as you're still learning and getting better, your shot selection is actually very good, because often people, when they start, they either try stuff like spinning stuff that don't matter, but you actually stay beyond your 1-2, your jab. And I feel the shot selection is very good. Definitely something I love about your game is how much you switch from manipulating your guard of the opponent to switch into submission, or at least to threaten submission, or do the opposite, to pretend you're gonna go for a bar, but go for like elbows. And actually, same, you develop a very good hand fighting game for like just move the guard and get the elbows going on. And I was wondering, is there like some drill that you do about this?
Dean and I are just always working on ground and pound in general. So it's just, well, really, he lets me play on the ground. He'll just like sit on bottom and let me just drill whatever I want. So I get to play with all the different places, just working on controlling grips and opening up. We're trying to do damage. We're not trying to sit there and throw like little tiny punches. I'm trying to sit there and every time I hit her, I'm trying to do damage. So we're just working on that, getting him power in all my punches.
Yeah, because actually, like the angle you take on your elbows and everything, I was very impressed, because there's a lot of people that just throw elbows and they just get that forehand going on. You really take a good angle. Like, it's weird that you didn't cut much more people than that so far, but I'm sure it's gonna happen soon.
Oh, it's all stuff that I've been working on a lot, almost since I came into the UFC. Like, whenever I first came in the UFC, I was more of just a jiu-jitsu girl, and now we're trying to make me a fighter all around. So I'm trying to do ground and pound. I'm trying to do better stand-up. I'm trying to wrestle. I'm trying to do everything all around.
That's great. And so, yeah, your last fight, unfortunately, you called the person you wanted to fight, and you got the fight, which doesn't happen all the time. And unfortunately, it didn't go their way. Actually, I watched it back today. Is there something you feel you should have changed in that fight?
No, not necessarily. I feel like Macy came in smart, and it was her night, and I got caught. Like, I was still there till the end. I wish the ref let it go a little bit longer, but it was his call. He didn't think I was ready to continue to fight, so I support his decision. I'm not gonna sit there and argue against it, but yeah, I just, it's not a fight I wouldn't accept in the future, you know? I'd be down for that again if I got the name.
Yeah, I thought the stoppage was a bit weird, because I think he even stopped when you were throwing your right hand, right? Like you were punching exactly at the time he stopped the fight.
Yeah, I think
happens.
I threw like 2 punches and then he called it. And I'm like, literally later that night, Jeremy Stevens got dropped like, I think twice, and they let it go. Like it ended up going to a decision. I'm like, you see things like that happen. It's just, it's the ref. It just depends on what he sees and what he feels is just.
Yeah, of course. But I felt Macy, she did a good job when she tried to cut. She get you like with a good elbow. I feel, and it just like when when you watch on the outside, she just on the optics she looked big. It feels like a big momentum for her, even though not every shot landed. I understand that the barrage can be impressive even for the ref, but like Macy Barber, she's another girl who's like very strong, big.
She definitely came into the fight with a smart game plan, but I'll be better next time.
You said you're ready to fight anytime now.
Oh yeah, I'm just waiting for the call. I'm just waiting. I'm literally texting my manager every day, like, what do we got? What's happening? So I'm just waiting for the call, waiting for the contracts. I'm ready to go.
And that would be great. Yeah, because there's gonna be some fight that stay in Florida. There's like the 3 events that happens here. And so from now on, looking for a fight, that'll be dope. Yeah, it's great. But well, I wish you luck for your next fight. Hopefully, after your next fight or maybe before, I don't know, we can chat again, talk about it. That would be great.
Oh, that'd be great. Yeah, thank you for talking to me today. It was a pleasure.